Ndinoda kuti nyika isiwe vanhu vangu inguva yedu hatingatadzi kubudirira Mwari ari parutivi pedu rambai muchirwa My hitters gon' die, the real hitters gon' shine and my people gon' rise Cause we're born to win, yeah I ain't saying but I'm saying
Loyalty's my favorite characteristic of God, but finding it in it is hard. It's like trying to find God. You're the only one in your camp with cheese. You pay for everything they eat. Man, that insecurity is deep. Now I ain't said no names. These are just theories. If you hear me, baby, it's home. You must admit it's kinda eerie, baby. Like them chemtrails in the sky. Hate to selling the slaves, kinda like the combines. We say everything in moderation, but don't do it in moderation. The lies of a gluttonous generation. 10-year-old girl.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, man, how you doing? You good? I know you like that. I know you like that. How long you been back, man?
Welcome, everybody. What's up, all of y'all out there? Welcome to the Date with Trae. And it is indeed a welcome back week for me. I'm loving being back in the Black Media Matters studios with my Converge family and, of course, all of you. Although it's a wet Wednesday out there, it's definitely going to be a warm Wednesday in here. We got a great lineup for you guys today. I get to tap in with my guy, Brian Callanan, find out what's going on in Seattle news, views, and brews. And also, I'm so excited because I got to see the Elixir of Love this weekend, and DuWayne Andrews Jr. is in the building to tell us more about that show right there at Seattle Opera at McCall Hall. You guys are going to want to hear all about that. And we're going to be following up. And the last guest of the show today is our brother, Simon Okelo. He's coming back to tell us about this year's Madaraka Festival. And it looks like they have a fire lineup. So I can't wait to dive into it with him. And of course, you guys are going to want to hear all of these amazing updates today. So make sure y'all stay tuned throughout the show. Of course, this is the top of the show. So it's a perfect time for you to tag and share the stream. Please tag and share this stream with folks you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on The Day with Trae. Also, we got you covered. If you can't watch the show, don't worry. You can find us anywhere you find your favorite podcast, Google, Spotify, iTunes, you name it, over 200 podcast platforms. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. You'll find us right there. We're going to keep some messages alive this week because we want to make sure you guys know about some of these resources. You know, first up, I want to make sure you guys know about Seattle Jazz Ed. And I'm so excited because later this week, we will have a guest coming from Seattle Jazz Ed. And of course, this is, the organization that is making sure that young people are getting engaged in the world of jazz. They have an amazing solution for those who are interested throughout the Seattle area. They have over 20 programs, including big band ensembles, jazz combos, workshops. This is all for students enrolled in grades 4th grade and up. So make sure you guys check out Seattle Jazz Ed. I can't wait to dive in a little bit more with one of our guests later on this week so you guys can hear all about Seattle Jazz Ed. Also, I'm so excited that this is going on. I mean, there is a commercial tenant improvement fund that Seattle Office of Economic Development has launched. Looks like you guys can apply for up to $100,000 in tenant improvement funds. They've been investing $1.9 million to make commercial space improvements more affordable for small businesses impacted by COVID-19. The deadline is September 8th at 5 p.m. You guys want to check out the link. Curtis is putting it there in the comments. There's also application assistance available in multiple languages by dialing 206-684-8090. So make sure you guys check this out. I mean, this is something that I think is really, really key as we think about community-centric design in particular, because we've seen that no matter how much we do when it comes to affordable housing, there was no fund that was allowing, commercial tenants to come in and get that edge knocked off because they're having to retrofit an entire space to match their business needs. And oftentimes this meant that they were having to come up with the funding quickly. We're talking, $300,000 plus in some cases. So these are not small feats or small investments. This is a huge deal that Seattle Office of Economic Development is doing. Shout out to them. I think this is really important. And of course, there's still time for you to get your tickets to Elixir of Love. You guys make sure you go check out this amazing show. So glad that DuWayne Andrews Jr. is in the building. We're going to be hearing more from him about this show. But I got to tell you, I went, loved it, enjoyed it. Me and my friend laughed and really had a great time. So you guys, it's a great opera to go check out. And the great thing about it is when they are singing in these different languages, don't trip. They got you covered because they have all of the closed captions up top so you guys can read along, and they repeat a lot of the phrases. So it's okay. You can kind of read it and still watch and enjoy. It's not like you're having to read the screen the whole time. So I can't wait to dive in later on in the show with DuWayne about all of that. But of course, the first guest we have coming up is somebody y'all see on Wednesdays right here on The Day with Trae. We got Brian Callanan coming up next. He's going to be telling us about what's going on tonight on Seattle News, Views, and Brews. What's up, Brian?
Hey, good to see you, Trae. Great to be back. And it's interesting you talk about that fund there for community development and businesses or what have you, because we're also talking about that on the show in a lot of different ways, especially when it comes to how businesses, how people are represented. There's something important going on right now that we've let people know about in the past, but I think it's important to reiterate. There's a group called the Seattle Redistricting Commission. It's working right now to make sure that the lines for city council representation are drawn differently, because we've had a lot of growth in the city over the past 10 years. They base it on those census figures, right? So they put out this map recently that shows where these lines are being redrawn. And it's very interesting. Some of the parts that were in District 7 here downtown, they've shrunk that a little bit because District 7 has grown so much over the past 10 years. So Magnolia is kind of split in half with this new map they have. It's very interesting. And also because District 7 had to shed a few more folks, they ended up carving off Pioneer Square, and that's now going to be in District 1, at least with the proposal they have so far. So I think it's an important piece to get involved in. This redistricting commission is taking a lot more input over the next several weeks here. They're making their final decision in November, but this is super important. I've heard from a lot of different groups, especially in the Chinatown ID. I think the redistricting commission, and we're talking about this on the podcast tonight, I think they did a relatively good job of trying to keep those communities of color, especially in the CID, together so that you don't break up a voting block of that nature. I think that's very important. But by the same token, I think you're going to see some pushback potentially from some of these communities. And Magnolia are saying, wait a minute, we'd like to have that influence on downtown. And the downtown folks saying, well, wait a minute, we've got a lot of renters down here, maybe not the homeowners so much, need to be involved in decisions, et cetera. So
Hey there, it's Trae Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
is on tenor,
Wow.
which I want to say is pretty rare in itself, and I want to say rare for the Seattle Opera stage. And my parents actually got to meet him on Sunday, and that was, especially my mom, that was very special to me.
Wow.
And
He
then
plays what, Nemorino?
Yeah, he plays
Okay,
Nemorino.
okay.
Yeah. And then the Elixir of Love, or L'Elisio d'Amore, is a very charming opera, and it's one of the most performed operas in all the world.
Wow.
And so I'm glad I'm able to get that in my belt. The chorus is also, you alluded to this, is very essential to the plot as far as moving things along and being in the in the space and gossiping at one point. Or you have that scene in Act 2 with the women, for instance.
Yeah.
And not to give too much away, but there's a lot going on in that scene. But once again, the chorus is moving things along with the lead. So it's also unique for me because this is my first opera comedy. Everything else I've been in, and I don't think this is necessarily unique to me, it's tragic and somebody dies or somebody goes away and they don't come back, like Porgy and Bess, for instance. So that's been refreshing. And I read an article the other day. It was a review of the opera stating that this is needed, like this kind of opera, the comedy is needed, and just with all that's going on in the world. So it's a very feel-good opera. And it's been refreshing to be part of that.
Well, it's a great time for it. And tickets are still on sale until August 20th. Look right there and just make sure people know how they can catch up with the Elixir of Love and check out the show before it's gone.
No problem. So going out there, go to www.seattleopera.org//Elixir, and you can go to the event section and you can find all the things about discounts. And even look up the rush tickets and all those things. And do I plug myself as well?
Yeah.
So as far as getting in touch with me, my Instagram is DEA at DEA #2WAY, and then my Facebook is DuWayne Andrews Jr. I also have a YouTube channel that is also my full name, DuWayne Andrews Jr. So those are ways to get a hold of me, and looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, DuWayne, thank you so much for being here. It's a great show indeed. And I'm so glad that I got to see it, got to see you in action, and also got to dive in with you today. Thank you so much for joining me.
No problem. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, you guys, what a great show. And we're going to continue in this greatness because Simon Okelo is joining us after this short break. We're going to be diving into all things Madaraka Festival. You guys don't want to miss this. It's going to be a big one. Stay tuned after this short break. You're watching The Day with Trae.
I'm the banjo ski band like the Jamaica friends call me. Capella like my South Africans call me. Mensa like my Ghanaians call me. Frike like my Liberians call me. Usinawata Buroga da Yawan. Importer, exporter. Seattle. Join me at the 8th annual Madaraka Festival. Yes, on the 13th and on the 14th. PS62. Oh my bad. Join, come outside. It's a charity event. It is a free event. And of course, I'm here to support what One Vibe has been doing in Africa. Anything given is always part of what I do, and I cannot wait to be there. So if you're still sitting down, you are on a long thing. We're going to eat jollof rice. We're going to chop light. We're going to, oh my God, I cannot wait. Feel it, don't touch it.
Me and you, in the bedroom, baby, sing a boom boom boom. Zoom zoom zoom. What's the facility? Now we can run.